everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Art Things Considered, where we consider art. My name is Matthew Slaza.
I'm Isabella Pico.
I'm Sabrina Braga.
And I'm Nico Williams.
And we are ready to bring you another fantastic week of things in the art world. We've got some cool stuff coming up for you. We're going to talk about Hamilton, of course. The documentary is coming out this week, so that's super exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about some new video games coming your way. Got a little bit of a tease on some TV stuff. And then, of course, you know, the movies as usual. But starting it off is Isabella with the Broadway Beat.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Well, like you said, Hamilton, the PBS special is happening on Friday. A lot of Hamilton fans are getting really excited about this. PBS is airing it Friday, October 21st, and it's at 9. So basically what the documentary is going to be looking at is kind of a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff with the show and exactly how it got to be to its Tony Award-winning status, and, you know, how Lin-Manuel Miranda kind of got the concept, how he did it, what he put the show together. So, yeah, kind of a lot of stuff like that. A lot of portions of the show, which this was really cool when I read about this, a lot of portions of the show were filmed in historical landmarks, like cool stuff that have to do with characters of the show, like Aaron Burr's bedroom, at Morris Jumel Mansion, where
That's
Miranda...
really meta. That's so meta.
Right?
Yeah, it's really weird because it's like these guys, you know, these are like founding fathers, and like in Hamilton, they're playing the founding fathers. But now we're going back and looking at the actual founding fathers' historical sites. So it's really like trippy. So they're going to other places like George Washington's Mount Vernon, which is mentioned a couple times in the musical. And so also throughout the program, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Told you you'd mess it up one of these episodes.
I know. It happens all the time. His name's so tricky. It's like a tongue twister. But he's going to be doing interviews with his father, Nas, Stephen Sondheim, John Weidman, and President Barack Obama. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, POTUS up in the house.
Yeah, like going high.
Well, he's a huge fan of the show, so it only makes sense.
I bet he is. Like, he's just that cool that he would be like such a big fan of Hamilton.
No, he when the show really started kicking off, I remember last spring when we were doing a couple stories for the show, Barack was always like commenting on it, saying how great the show was and how much he loved it. They went and they performed at the White House on Easter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So yeah, you know, but that was cool.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, one of the first performances of anything from Hamilton was for one of his White House dinners.
Yeah, that's where it all started. Almost, you could really say, where the first. I'd say that was almost like the first real performance of the show.
It's because, like, President Obama was like, yes, finally, like, my love for hip-hop and history come together.
Well, it's just really funny because, like, in the trailer for the doc, he talks about, he's like, oh, so you're going to write a musical about Alexander Hamilton. Oh, yeah, good luck. Like,
yeah.
He's like, a rapping, okay, that's going to work out. And then he's like, whoa, look.
it
Listen.
did. But
It looks really good, like, the trailer looks really solid. It looks like a really, really good documentary, which is exciting.
And PBS makes good stuff. But
particularly PBS nationally.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm super excited about is that they're going to be doing live performances that were taped from the original Broadway cast. And they're not doing all the songs, but they're doing a couple of the really good ones.
I mean, most of the songs are featured. I mean, they only really pulled out a couple of the more transitionary songs and didn't really include them.
Yeah, but I'm going to list off the songs real quick, but an important thing to remember is that they're not going to be doing the full song. They said that they're just going to be doing portions of each number.
Isn't it like it's an hour documentary, or is it 2 hours? I think it's an hour.
That's a good question.
Even if it's 2 hours, they couldn't do all the songs.
Yeah,
so.
no, because the show's 2.5 hours on the album.
Yeah. The
album is 2.5 hours, but yeah, it's probably an hour. You're probably right. But well, the songs are going to be Alexander Hamilton, of course, My Shot, Hurricane, The Schuler Sisters, You'll Be Back, Right Hand Man, Helpless, Guns and Ships, Yorktown, parentheses, The World Turned Upside Down, Wait for It, What I'd Miss, the White House performance.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Cabinet Battle number 1, Room Where It Happens. It's going to be the White House and the Broadway performances. One Last Time, White House performance.
Ooh, that's going to be emotional. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Burn, the Election of 1800, The World Was Wide Enough, and Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story.
I'm getting emotional
So,
just reading these songs.
yeah,
right now.
these are the songs in the show that really like get the feels going. But
Yeah, that's what I mean by like I think they only took out a couple of the like more minor songs.
yeah, like Cabinet Battle #2 and
I mean, I kind of wish they had Cabinet Battle #2 because that's like
Yeah.
really cool. But yeah, whatever. You're not gonna have everything.
and the Adams Administration song. That's not in there either. But
I mean,
to put that on television, it's fine. Anyways,
for good reason.
yeah, for good reason. But
Yeah. But they're managing to sample. I think their job partially is to tell the story of what the musical was.
yeah.
And I think they picked a good selection of songs to do that. I do love that that your songs are in a very different order than I'd expect.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna on the website where I found the song list, it wasn't in order. So I was gonna go back and put it in order, but then I was like, you know what? Nah. I'm gonna mix it up. Let's like not let people think they know what's gonna come next. So
Oh yeah, you're keeping them on their toes,
keeping the
keeping our
fans
listeners
on their toes. Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
no, I'm
so-
super excited about this. I don't have cable, but it's gonna be online.
Yeah, it'll be online.
So
sure,
I'm super
after.
excited to watch it. It looks filmy, which is nice. Like it looks like a
Mm-hmm.
true film documentary, which is really nice because sometimes PBS ones look TV style.
Yeah.
And I think that probably had a lot to do with Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
But I'm really pumped because like this is all original stuff for the most part that no one's
Mm-hmm.
seen. And the interviews look really fun, and Lin looks like he's having fun in it. So
When is he not?
true, yeah. If you're a fan of anything regarding the show, or if you just want to see how crazy it is that a hit show takes that long to make and like how it makes an impact, like the journey it took, definitely worth watching.
Yeah, it took him. I think when he said I rewatched the SNL monologue opening the other night, and it took him 7 years
Yeah.
to put the whole show together.
What?
That's like almost.
I
a
mean,
decade.
imagine the research and the stuff
That's
he had going
true,
on.
actually.
Like,
Yeah.
because he
All that.
started doing it during In the Heights. Like he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
doing it for 7 years. He was its main project probably 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely tune in October 21st at 9 p.m. PBS.
Yeah. Remember.
And then of course BroadwayCon, right?
Yeah,
the one I
BroadwayCon.
get to go to instead of you, right?
Stop, Matt. You're gonna make me cry. Okay.
Everyone else is like, "Dang, Matt, that's savage."
Yeah, no, listen. Okay, so just for some background for any of the people who are just tuning into the show now, and for you two, I know you guys were asking earlier. BroadwayCon is basically, it is a type of Comic-Con event, but it's for Broadway fans. So a lot of people from the Broadway shows show up. It's in New York. A lot of a lot of casts come and perform their show numbers. The Hamilton cast came last year, and they had a question and answer, I think, with some people.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of stuff. So you see a lot of people who are in the Broadway field or who do theater show up to this. And the event was great. Everyone loved it last January when they did it. It was a 2-day, just for a weekend thing, like all the other cons usually are. And yeah, it was a hit, and Playbill's the one who puts it together. So it's happening
Along
again.
with Anthony Rapp, who started it all.
Yep. And yeah, they're doing it again. But basically this week, Playbill announced that they're going to be doing, it's a BroadwayCon week. So every day this week, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be releasing different people who are going to be coming to BroadwayCon with new themes for the day and just kind of cool little interesting facts like that. So what we know already is that who's coming is Josh Groban and the cast of The Great Comet, Kelly O'Hara, Cynthia Nixon, Christopher Jackson. I know you were excited about that one,
Get
Matt.
pumped. Jonathan Groff, get pumped.
Norman Lewis, who I love. He's in a lot of shows I really like. And George Takei. And
Taggy.
yeah. I knew
Takei.
Takei, if we want to get
Oh
fancy.
man, you're so not
I like
in pop
Tag now.
culture.
I am. I really am. But
We'll rebrand him.
Yeah.
For you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, that was only part of the list that has come out already. So the whole bunch of other people, and I'm gonna keep you guys updated this week. I'm probably gonna be continuously posting on the page the updates that Playbill gives, so you guys can see. But yeah, that's all the news I have for this week. Matt, local theater, want to update us?
I will. There were a bunch of shows last weekend. There's still a couple shows running. The 2 shows, I think Fiddler closed, and then Bang Bang was only open for a weekend. But we still have Whatever Happened to Baby Jane at the Hippodrome, in case you missed that. It's a campy black comedy that follows a former child star as she torments her sister in her Hollywood mansion. And that originally starred Bette Davis and Joan Crawford in the 1962 production. It looks kind of fun, kind of a weird Halloween mystery, definitely worth checking out. And the Hippodrome always does a good job, so you can't really lose.
Oh, yeah.
Hippodrome productions are always great, and that's going to be playing through November 6th, so you got plenty of time to see that one. And then, of course, Commander at the ART will be running through the 30th. That's the Crosstown Repertory Theater, and again, that's about kind of pondering the issue of whether or not the United States is ready for a gay president. And it's a comedy. It looks really interesting and fun. That's going to be playing through October 30th at, again, the Crosstown Repertory Theater. And then, of course, our main event this week, we interviewed some people from the Florida Players production of All New People. That's going to be playing at the Squitieri Theater in the Phillips Center from this Friday, October 21st, through Sunday, October 23rd. And we actually had the pleasure of interviewing them. We interviewed the director and a key cast member from the show, so go ahead and enjoy that. Hey guys, this is the aforementioned interview with the people from the Florida Players production of All New People. I'm talking here with Sarah and Riley. Sarah's the director, and Riley, I believe you are in the cast. Is that correct?
Yes, I play Emma.
You play Emma. Okay, and real quick, we're just going to have them intro themselves a little bit. What they're doing. Obviously, the director's directing, but maybe talk a little bit about your take. Give me 2 or 3 sentences about it. And then, Riley, tell me a little bit about your character. We'll start with Sarah, the director.
Hey, I'm Sarah Bennett. I'm the director. The show is super fun and exciting. It's really fun to work with. I have an amazing cast. They're all really brilliant actors that just really make it a lot of fun to do. The crew is amazing too, and I think if you don't come see it, then you just made a bad life choice.
Oh, always good to hear about a show. I honestly believe that not going to see a Florida Players show is usually a mistake. And hear me out, because it's not that much of a compliment, but it's a pretty big compliment. One, I've never been disappointed by a Florida Players show. I've never gone to see a Florida Players show and gone, oh man, that wasn't worth my time. But it's always worth your money because it's free.
That's
and
true.
My biggest thing I push whenever we talk about a Florida Players show is like, the worst that can happen is you experienced a new art and you were like, I didn't like it, but you didn't have to pay for it. You got to enjoy it, and you get to meet the cast afterwards and talk, and it's always fun. So definitely worth it. And Riley, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Riley Shea. I play Emma in the show. Emma is a really fun character. She's really quirky. She's from London, so I had to learn a British accent, which has been very interesting. But it's a really fun show. It's about like some unlikely characters coming together, which has been really fun to work with, all the different, relationships that we get to play out. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Nice. Yeah, I find it's always fun to have like an ensemble show, and this is a really ensemble show, right?
Oh, definitely. The main 4 actors are there at every rehearsal for the entire rehearsal, and 2 of them are on stage the entire show.
Wow.
And then the other 2 come in pretty early on. I mean, they're there for the majority of the show.
I love shows, and this is like the nerdy theater person in me, but I love shows where the actors are literally that immersed in the show that they're on stage the entire time. They don't get a break. They don't get to break character. They're just living in the space, and I think it's super cool, especially because you guys get to do it at the Squitieri, which is like this black box where you're basically in the show. And oftentimes directors will use it as if it's in like a part of the stage, so it's really cool. That's why I always love Florida Player shows, because I feel like I'm always there, like I'm living in the show, and that's exciting. You want to give us a brief synopsis of what the show is itself?
Yeah. So the show is about Charlie. Charlie is just a lonely guy who is trying to kill himself. Yeah, that's how it opens up. But he is stopped by Emma. And she comes in, she's trying to sell the house. Well, yeah, she's trying to rent it out. And she stops him, and they just begin talking. And then she calls over her friend, Myron, who's a fireman. And he comes in, and at this point, Charlie can't get them out. And then they hear a knock at the door, and in walks Kim, who is a prostitute.
Oh.
She would call
Lady of
herself
the
an
night.
escort.
Oh, okay.
But she comes in, and they just spend the rest of the night together, and they each go through their own deep personal story, which is interesting, and they kind of discover themselves in the process.
Hey, is there any comedy to lift up the depressing topic at all, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I didn't mean for that to come off as like, oh my god, this sounds. No, it's just I always find that there's a lot of dark humor in anything about suicide, but particularly anything that's real about suicide, because anyone who's ever been depressed knows that you make jokes along the way to deal with it, and if you're not making jokes, that's when it's bad. That's when it's really bad, so.
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, when Emma walks in, the whole time she just jokes about what he's about to do and how he's doing it. And he's like, "Can you leave?" And she's like, "I can't leave. You're going to kill yourself." And she just, it goes off that. And you have this awesome banter between Emma and Myron, and them kind of ganging up on Charlie and just teasing him about being Jewish looking. And it's fun. And then you get to deal with Kim. She has a lot of the really funny stuff going on. She talks about scabies and her different...
Scabies?
Yeah, they're little microscopic bugs that crawl under your skin and poop.
That's terrifying. Okay. Good to hear. I guess that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's funny in the show, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, I'm gonna trust you. You're the director, and I'm curious how you proposed this show. Like, what was your pitch? How were you like, I'm gonna take this show. It's about a hot topic in terms of depression and suicide. What was your take on? What's your twist? Now, you don't have to give anything away, but I'm just curious. What's your approach?
Oh, well, when I came in, I felt very confident coming in to my proposal. I was like, hey, this is a comedy, and I know comedy. And I think that won me over, but I was just like, I think when you're dealing with such dark topics, because Emma goes through a very dark moment towards the end, I think when you're dealing with that, a lot of comedy is found in like the deep troubles of things and real life problems. And so I think it's funnier to be able to laugh at something that is more relatable and, like a real thing people deal with, other than like, a farce where the comedy is kind of thrown at you.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're seeing increasingly in art, which makes me really happy. In TV shows and movies, it seems like they're finally getting a reality check that we don't want to see fake sad. We don't want to see fake happy. We like the real moments, and it doesn't always have to be complicated. Sometimes it just has to be real. Like somebody listening to sad music in their room doesn't listen to like that one particular song, looking at themselves in a mirror. Like there's more to it. And that can be very entertaining and very compelling if you just handle it the right way. You smiled as if I just ruined something.
No, I'm trying not to ruin it because there's Charlie plays a certain type of music.
Oh yeah, we'll leave it right there. If you want to find out what type of music Charlie plays, you have to go check out All New People by the Florida Players at the Squitieri Theater, opening next weekend and playing this 21st through 23rd, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then now I heard a little bit about the director's perspective. Let's hear what it's like to be under that rain. What are the expectations? And more importantly, like, what was your perspective on the character? I'm sure it's got to be very complicated.
Yeah, Emma's definitely a complicated character because she's so, like, fun. She's funny. She's quirky the entire show. And then she really has to go through this transformation at the end when they get into some of the more serious topics. So that's definitely been fun to work with because, well, this is my first Florida Players show, and so far it's been great. And she's been a really fun character to work with as part of my first show.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah's really great to work with, too. She gives a lot of good pointers. But yeah, it's just been really fun. It's been a really, really good experience.
Yeah, and what was your like your method? How'd you prepare for a character like this?
Oh, man. Really, I just tried to go into it, try to put myself in her shoes. So I walk into this house, I'm confronted with a stranger, but you have to keep in mind, like, her personality isn't, she's not going to sit down and just, like, think about it. She's just going to, like, interact with her environment. And so just trying to, like, be as in the moment as I possibly can. There's a lot of freedom with the character, getting to ad-lib, getting to, like, do some improv. And so walking into the first rehearsal was definitely an interesting experience, but by this point, we've kind of gotten our routine down.
All right, that's seems like you definitely took a healthy way of going with it. I'm gonna live in the character's moment. I'm just gonna kind of.
Well,
That's definitely an acting strategy.
Yeah,
that some
there's a
people
lot
do.
of comedy to it, but if you lived in all of the moments, I think that I would leave the rehearsals pretty heartbroken sometimes.
Yeah, that's kind of and it's been brought up a lot this year. That's kind of the interesting controversy is like, how much should you be living in your character's shoes? How much do you leave on stage? How much do you live to try and be true to the character? And, I mean, myself, I'm more of a fan of the people who can kind of live through their own history in the character than the people who go extreme method, because I actually feel like going extreme method can sometimes be less genuine because it's not true to yourself. You're completely creating a character, and sometimes that just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sad. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'm sure it's
okay.
sad. Did you go like back to when you were 5 or something, like to try and find a place to get there? Or?
No, it's not like that. You just kind of have to find the few things that you do have in common with that character and just build from that. And so I have a lot in common with like some of the like happier sides of Emma, and like I can put myself in her shoes and like imagine what that would be like for the other parts. I don't have to like,
You don't have to pinch
delve
yourself.
into any trauma.
Nah, I feel you. Yeah, and I guess like with a character like that, it's more of like a nuanced sadness anyway. So it's kind of, which is nice. I mean, I don't want anyone who's just like crying to cry.
Yeah.
There's complication, and no one's ever just sad. And that's the biggest thing that I have a problem with is if I'm watching a movie and someone's just sad, or if I'm watching a TV show and they're just sad. I'm like, human emotions are not that way. They're complicated. You can be crying of happiness for your best friend, but also like want to kill yourself at the same moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not mutually exclusive. Yeah. And that makes me really interested to see this play.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a big thing in this play because it's like, yeah, Charlie is depressed throughout it and Emma has her whole ordeal, but they don't stay, that one emotion or stay in that depressed state throughout any of it. They go very back and forth, I think, how like a normal person would, where that's how they feel, but that's not how they want to like,
Live.
show themselves.
Yeah, they're not just gonna live one emotion.
Yeah.
And no one's one note.
Mm-hmm.
I've met some boring people in my life. I've never met anyone who maintained one emotion all the time. I'm
Yeah.
always excited to see human pieces, like truly human pieces. Is there anything else you guys want to share with the listeners to make them come see the show?
Yeah, there's so all the characters, they have their own story, and I think a fun thing with this show is there are moments where each of the characters has their own flashback, which I think is cool because it takes you out of the main set of the show and the main thing of the show and just is kind of like a nice breather. And it's like seeing, a backstory, which I think most plays you don't get to do.
It's very in the moment usually.
Yeah. And so because the whole play takes place in real time, having that little moment for each character to like share like this is me, like the real raw me is very interesting, and I think it helps you connect to the characters more. So when you see it, it's just like, oh, it's more relatable because of that, I think.
Yeah.
It's more of a connection. And you, Relly, anything?
Yeah, Sarah's done a great job of making sure that the whole thing seems very real. Like, you really feel with the characters, you laugh with them. There are moments where you don't like them, and there are moments when you like them. Nothing is, like, one-dimensional or static throughout the whole show. It's just, like, real people having real conversations. And so I think that's been really interesting to see develop, because a lot of shows where you see, like, you can tell at the same time that it's a show. But
Yeah.
this one, the conversations all seem very real and very natural. And so it's definitely been interesting, and I highly recommend coming to see it.
I mean, you guys got me so excited. I'd been able to do, because there's not like a recording of the show or anything. Like, it's not like the most popular thing in the world. So I tried to research it, be like, oh, I want to know about it. And I was super intrigued. And I'm glad that after talking to you guys, I think that this is a compliment. I think you guys went the right way about doing the show, which is awesome. Not that my opinion means anything, but I think that it's a very cool way, and I'm so excited to go see it, as I always am for Florida Players shows. But again, that's going to be October 21st through 23rd at the Squitieri Studio Theater. I always say it wrong.
I say it wrong every time, too. I just avoid saying it.
See, I have to, though, because they need to know. It's in the Phillips Center. We've talked about it 1,000 times on this podcast, so if you've never heard of it before, you should pay more attention. But again, Squitieri Studio Theater in the Phillips Center. It is actually a really cool space, and it sounds like it's going to be an awesome show. Thanks so much, Sarah and Riley, for being on the show.
Thank you
for having us.
All right. Always a fun interview with the Florida Players. They're usually pretty fantastic on the stage. If you haven't seen any Florida Players productions, I have to encourage you, not only because they're free, but I have to encourage you because they have never put on a show that I didn't enjoy, and that's rare for me. Even the Hippodrome's done a couple shows where I was like, not my kind of show. Florida Players has never disappointed me, and it's made me think differently about theater. So definitely check out All New People at the Squitieri Studio Theater in the Phillips Center this weekend, October 21st through 23rd. Worth a shot. And that's going to wrap up local theater. Next up, of course, the TV topic of the week with Sabrina.
All right, guys. So today I decided I wanted to talk about one of my favorite shows ever. So it's Jane the Virgin. It's coming back actually today while we record this for season 3 on the CW. And so for those of you who haven't seen Jane the Virgin or don't know what it's about, it's basically a American Spanish telenovela. It's derivative of like a Venezuelan telenovela that was really popular in Venezuela, and they kind of took it and applied it to American TV for American audiences, but still very heavily involved with Latino culture, and it takes place in Miami, so how more American Latino can you get, really? And so basically it's about a girl named Jane who's a very young aspiring writer, and she's in college and everything, and she makes a promise to her very Catholic grandma that she will remain a virgin until marriage. So she makes this promise, and she grows up, and while she's at a routine OBGYN appointment, she is accidentally artificially inseminated with her boss's sperm.
Unfortunate.
A very unfortunate thing to have happen. And so turns out there's some history between her and her boss too that adds to the complications. Also, it's like her boss can't really have children. Like, to the sperm was like the one chance he had to have like a child, and so like she decides she wants to keep the baby, and the rest of that's like the first episode, honestly. So
And it's all about her like journey.
Yeah,
No spoilers as to what happened after that, but
it's impossible to talk about every spoiler on this show, but it's great. It's super duper over dramatic, which is what I love about it.
Style.
Yeah, very, very telenovela style.
Oh my God, I love telenovelas.
Yeah, it's great. There's like probably the best character isn't even seen on the screen. It's the Latin lover narrator that narrates the show. And it's great because he really mirrors what the audience is thinking. So if something crazy happens, he's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I did not see that happen, like, or coming or whatever. And it's really fun. It's a great show to watch. It's been doing moderately well. I wish it got more viewers because I'm so loyal to the show.
I don't think you understand that, like, people think 1.2 million viewers is like not that much, but for CW that's amazing.
That's true, but that's like the highest I would say it's probably ever gotten.
Oh, okay.
So
didn't the main actress for the show, didn't she win? Did she won something?
yeah,
right?
she won a Golden Globe, I think, for the first season when it came out, and it was for the same like category that My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend like that
Okay.
actress won
Okay.
this past year. So it was for that. They like to award a lot of CW shows because I think they're really like brave with casting sometimes. They don't pick people that obviously are like huge names or anything. But yeah, I love the show. It's coming back for season 3. I'm really excited about it. I like the show a lot because I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to relate to a Latina role, especially on TV. And I like that they didn't just make Jane out to be like a stereotypical like sex symbol kind of, which I feel like a lot of Latina girls are subject to. So she's like a person who has goals. She loves her family.
She's a person.
Yeah, she's a person. So, and also the show deals with a lot of things with like immigration and a lot of big issues like religion, even with like abortion and gay rights and stuff. Like it's surprising how much they really delve into while also keeping it super over dramatic and hilariously funny. It's one of my favorite shows. I wish I like had more people to talk to about it. Really the only person I can talk to is like my boyfriend's sister. She keeps up with it too. So we'll talk about it and he gets really annoyed because I don't think he likes the show. So
I'll have to start it.
Yeah.
I'll start it so I can jump on that bandwagon
Yeah, Isabella,
with
you better, because we need somebody else to watch that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad that none of you have seen it. But the first 2 seasons are on Netflix and they're very, very binge worthy.
Okay.
So if you want to have a good time,
Don't recommend me any more shows. We'll talk about how that goes.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to share about Jane the Virgin?
I don't know. I think that's it. It's going to be, watch it. Like you really won't
Kind of like
regret
how
watching it.
how do you think season 3 is gonna go?
Honestly, I have no idea. There was such a big cliffhanger, and I won't spoil anything, but there was a really big cliffhanger at the end of the show, and for like all the characters involved. So I really think that they're gonna address that because like, no, I really want to spoil things right now, but
Don't do it.
I won't do it on behalf of the people listening to this who haven't seen it. But I don't know. It's just a great show. It's really funny. Like if you really want to laugh about, because my life is very non-dramatic at all.
True.
So I crave off of like over the top drama that happens. So I don't know. That's why I really like that show. I wish you guys could like
Understand,
because then I would feed off of your commentary and everything.
I've seen the one, but I haven't seen any of the episodes, but I saw the clip from the first episode of the season of the show when they're in the hospital and the doctor's like telling them that, oh, like, you know, you're pregnant. And she's like, what? Like, that's not possible. You know, I've never slept with anybody bbefore. And the doctor's like, well, you're pregnant. And the mom's like, she's the next Virgin Mary. And she starts like praying
her
in
mom's
Spanish.
like, you are Immaculata. Like,
oh my gosh. I thought that was
That's
funny.
hilarious. All right, well, I guess I'll have to start watching Jane the Virgin.
yeah, it's going to be every Monday night, I guess now between like December. They usually end with a Christmas themed episode. So it's going to be Monday nights at 9 on the CW.
All right, that's going to wrap up the TV topic of the week. And then, of course, we have some amazing stuff coming at us from Nico, coming at you with some video game news and a little bit of Marvel stuff that we're going to be pretty pumped to talk about.
Yeah, so this week in video game news, we have word of the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare beta that dropped this week to pre-orderers. And from what I've seen at a friend's place, the servers are pretty terrible, but it's only open until tomorrow. They just extended it because they dropped another game mode and another map to play on. But from what I've heard, the game is largely unfinished. So, not really sure what this extra little bit of day is going to really do for them.
Wah, wah.
Basically.
I guess the one day is just mainly to test those 2 new components, and then like the rest is just going to be like, we need to finish this game.
Yeah.
Basically, just like maybe we should like wrap this up.
Maybe
because
we
it's going to
shouldn't
drop
make
in a few weeks.
Yeah.
so many Call of Duty games. Okay, well, that's we'll see. We'll see if that turns out half decent. Call of Duty games.
I mean, people are going to buy it regardless, so it kind of doesn't matter, I guess.
It's depressing to think that, but yeah.
What if they they were like, let's just leave it like this and see if people still
People would
buy
buy
it.
it.
I mean,
Well,
people are going to buy it just to like see, be like, oh, like, is it really that bad?
It'd have to be garbage for people to not buy it. And really, it'd have to be garbage, and then they wouldn't buy the next one. They'd still buy this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know.
as long as they put out a beta for the next one and it's better than what they put out this year,
Okay.
people would probably still
All
buy
right.
it. There'd just be a lot of returns at like GameStop. And
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This definitely feels like they're like limped release, though. I feel like they're going to be like, we're revamping it next game, and they just don't care about this one. What I'm more excited about, though, Rockstar releases Red Dead Redemption teasers.
Exactly. So the first picture that I saw was just the Rockstar logo with the completely red tint, and that right eerie.
Eerie.
Mysterious.
People think for a little bit, you know. And there's another one with you can see the silhouette of characters, and they're walking like not into the sunset, but away from the sunset, and the sun's behind them, and it's still that red tint. So something's coming soon. We're just waiting on the exact announcement. It could be a brand new game. It could be like a remastered version for
What?
For the new system.
What
Yeah, the
what
next
is Red Redemption?
Red
'Cause
Dead Redemption is basically GTA Western.
Okay.
It's a really good game. Like, it won so many awards when it came out.
Yeah, it came
GTA
out.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
All right. Just making sure we're all on the same page.
No,
We are all on the
GTA,
same
Gainesville
page.
Transit Authority.
Basically.
Of course.
Thank you, Isabella.
Also,
Yeah, it's just questions,
also, Batman Return to Arkham is releasing tomorrow.
Ooh.
So if you are a fan of the Batman games, you should probably check that out. And also,
Shout out Armando.
for those who are not Call of Duty heavy, Battlefield 1 is releasing on Friday. So that should be interesting to play. While Call of Duty is going forward, Battlefield's going backwards in time as far as the time period that the game is set.
Yeah, as
in.
far as timeline, yeah.
So
Are
that should be
Call of
interesting to
Duty
play.
and Battlefield connected or no?
No.
Oh, they're like
They're just-
direct competitors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the plot thickens.
And
cool.
in comic book news, we have word about Thor Ragnarok.
We need to have a discussion about this. Just a small
The
one.
director is purposely ignoring the last two Thor films.
Okay.
Let's let that
Okay.
marinate.
I mean, I really do think he's just making a bold statement to make a bold statement. Like,
Who is
don't-
the director?
it was Taika Waititi, right? That's who it is. That's the director right there.
Who?
Taika Waititi. I know it's a
Never
weird
heard
name.
of him.
He's from New Zealand. He's done like nothing. Don't worry. But he did What We Do in the Shadows. Did you guys ever see that?
No.
No.
Never heard
Oh,
of it.
okay. Well, there you go. It received critical acclaim, so apparently Marvel's just like, let's see what happens.
But like,
I mean, not like they could make the Thor movies worse critically. Like,
Yeah.
nobody liked them.
No, like in this guy's defense, like I also try
Critic-wise,
to
I don't mean the movies
forget
themselves.
the
Yeah.
Thor movies. I did not like them. I was not a
the
fan.
Thor movies when
I'm not a
compared.
huge fan of the first one.
The second one was definitely better than the first one, but like, if you look at them compared to all the Marvel movies, yeah, they lack a little. But I mean, it's not that they're not good entertainment, but
They're a little slow, though.
they are.
I mean, I think the thing is, he's not trying to say like he's gonna ignore the storylines. He's just not gonna reference them at all, like how all the other Marvel movies are.
Yeah,
connected.
they're
Right.
connected.
So
I think he's just trying to say this is going to be more of a standalone story, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay if it's more standalone and then it's tied into later movies rather than tying it into older movies. Like, there's no need. We know
Right.
what happened.
that
That's
makes sense.
true.
Like maybe this will be like Thor and Hulk's mini Civil War, just their Civil War movie. You
'Cause
know,
they got left out.
They got left out.
I mean, I was reading that he was saying that he also kind of wanted to like revamp the Thor character a little bit.
Ew.
So we'll see where it goes. I mean, you never know. You can always have an improvement.
I mean, I like to hope so. I mean, not that they were awful, but, new take would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess
I
for
thought
this
they
character,
were boring. I'll be that person.
they're a little dull.
Yeah.
Is what? Yeah. So
That's what the real issue
that's
is.
what the
That's true.
consensus is. So
Yeah.
we'll see where he takes the character. And he also states that he wants Bruce Banner to be the breakout character, or at least the way it's written currently, I guess.
Define like what do you think like breakout character?
I think that means he's trying to make this equally Thor and Bruce Banner.
Okay.
Like, I think Hulk,
Okay.
it's a real, because Ragnarok
I
isn't
think
just Thor.
I think he's trying to like also give him more of a co-star role instead of like a support role.
Okay.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. Because I mean, Mark Ruffalo hasn't had his own Hulk movie.
Yeah, he hasn't.
right.
Which is why
So-
I think this is serving as like his moment before the new Avengers movies
Yeah.
and with Infinity Wars and stuff.
Cool.
We'll see. I mean, I like the idea that he's saying he's going to style it after the 70s and 80s sci-fi stuff.
right.
So I think that'll be pretty cool.
And there's also supposed to be a reference to Doctor Strange. So
Yeah. Have
I
you guys seen the
mean,
set pics? Because
I don't. I gotta be honest. I'm trying not to question Marvel, but I don't think I'm gonna care about this movie.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
I
Yeah.
agree, man.
I'm not a huge
It's
Benedict
hilarious
fan anyway.
because because my girlfriend, she's like, "What's the new Marvel guy that they're working on?"
She's kind of strange.
No, she didn't even say that. She's like, he has a cape.
He has a cape.
She's gonna hate me for that. I love you. I'm sorry.
After doubting Ant-Man, you guys didn't hear about this, but when Ant-Man came out, my best friend and I, we saw it, and we weren't gonna tell anyone we went and saw it if it sucked. So we were like, all right, like it's had some pretty good reviews, but like if we walk in there and we hate it, we're not telling anyone.
So
we went and
basically,
saw
let's
it.
did and say we didn't.
That was exactly. But we liked it. It was so much better than we expected.
Ant-Man was
like,
amazing though.
Yeah, for
Ant-Man
what we were
did
expecting.
beat a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
Well, let's just let's table Doctor Strange for a minute. Because we're not going to be able to say anything about it until it comes out. So let's just keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Maybe we'll go together as a podcast and go see it.
We used to do that all the time last year.
Those are always fun.
So, Walking Dead is also renewed for an 8th season.
Well, not surprised.
I mean, with its ratings.
Right. Here's something interesting. James Gunn is interested in a Nebula solo film. For those who don't know, Nebula is Gamora's sister
Oh yeah.
in the original Guardians.
With the robo arm, right?
Her.
Oh,
She was really raw.
who
in
played
that
her in the movie? From
movie. Karen Gillan.
Doctor Who? Was she Doctor Who?
She was not Doctor Who. She was Amy.
There we go.
Was she the doctor?
No. I meant she from the show. From the show.
The male doctor that's
Matt.
never been a female doctor, and that's like a huge issue right now.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I know that.
But,
Okay.
I think what happened was a fan tweeted him about it, and he was talking about how much he liked the idea. So we can see where that goes. She's set to play Nebula again in the next Guardians
She's
film.
an interesting character. Like
For
I
sure.
really like her.
I really enjoyed her character in the
Yeah.
Guardians film. So we'll see where that goes. And on a personal note, a friend turned me on to Gotham.
Ooh, the show.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I mean, I haven't really started from scratch, but from the few episodes that I've been watching, because he's already on season 3. So
Ooh.
Spoilers,
the few
dude.
episodes I've been watching, it seems really interesting. I feel like I have to sit down and really
It's a landmark show. I definitely think you should watch it. I mean,
Have you
I
seen
can't
it,
catch
Matt?
up, but no, I've seen the first 4 episodes of the first season, and I stopped watching because I lost cable. So
I want to watch it.
I
It's on
think
Netflix
it's on
now.
it's on Netflix. Yeah, I've just been needing to catch up on it. There's too many shows I want to watch. I want to watch Flash. I want to watch Arrow. Like,
I'm in the process
too
of
much.
catching up on Flash.
my friend, he's really big on Flash.
I highly recommend. I think both me and Matt can vouch for Flash.
Yeah, my
I'll-
roommate loves it.
I'll have to actually watch it.
Wait, Matt, which season are you on?
No, I said I have to watch it. Like there are things I just have to watch.
Oh, okay.
My
Well,
list is nuts.
I highly recommend Flash. I'm playing catch up right now on season 2. Actually, I was watching it yesterday. It's a great show. It's great. All the DC TV shows, whether it's on CW or Gotham, that's not on CW. I've heard nothing but great reviews. So,
All right.
I mean, that's my personal.
I'll have to
opinion.
check it out. I'll have to get on that. Get a little faster at doing that. I was trying to think of a Flash joke. Couldn't make a great one.
No.
Anyway,
Terrible transition.
Too slow.
is that gonna wrap up the game?
That wraps
and
up everything I have to say.
Nico will never speak again.
Again, let me apologize on air to my girlfriend because I know she's gonna hate the impression that I did of her. So
No, it's fine.
I love
This
you.
is how you build
I
relationships.
thought it was hilarious.
You need apologetic moments.
I love you. I'm sorry.
That's really nice.
That's
though.
really sweet.
Wow.
I don't apologize to my girlfriend
Brownie
for
points
things
for
I say
you.
on the show.
Right?
Ugh.
I don't think I have to apologize to my boyfriend, but now I'm like thinking about
See,
it.
Oh, you
'cause-
should.
so
Just for
that's the
fun.
thing.
No, no.
No, don't do
Get
it.
away with things. That's just, that's just the fact of life.
Oh man. Anyway, getting into the movies segment here. Wonderful transition. Thank you, Nico.
That was a great dip into our
Apologies to
personal
our
lives.
significant others. One movie has to make an apology. You know what? I'll make it a good transition. One movie needs to apologize. In the number
Oh
11,
my gosh.
Smooth. That was really smooth.
in the number 11 spot this week, we talked about it last week. Max Steel opened in the number 11 spot with $2.1 million. That's an apology movie right there. To give you a better idea of why it needs to apologize, this movie has a 0 score with critics on Rotten Tomatoes
What?
and a 51 with fans.
Ooh.
That's rough.
That's horrible.
That's like really rough. Like
Wow,
that's like
that's-
you screwed up.
Yeah, that's like, why did you even bother to make it? Like,
It literally though.
Oh
And
my
like to give
God.
you a better idea of what the other movies that opened this week did. The Accountant opened in number 1 with 24.7 million, and Kevin Hart's What Now movie opened with 11 million, so it opened with almost like 6 times as much as Max Steel, which is kind of ridiculous. And both of those movies are doing way better on Rotten Tomatoes. The Accountant's not doing great with critics, but this is one of the biggest disparities I've ever seen. Like, audiences say 87, critics say 49. Like, that's
Wow.
insane. It's clearly hitting with audiences. I think just critics built it up too much. They were like,
Maybe. Yeah.
this is a special type of movie, you know? Because it's
Yeah.
like about like an autistic accountant who becomes like a badass. So it's kind of, I guess they built it up and they're like, this is going to be really amazing. And they're just like, it's just a good story. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still going to go see it. And What Now got a 78 with critics and a 73 with audiences. So, you know, when a comedy special movie and the Accountant with a 49 with critics are beating you on both counts, like that's pretty nuts. To move on more with the top 10 movies this week, The Girl on the Train moved to the number 3 spot with 11.9 million. That's actually about 12 million right there. Still, movie's probably not going to make back its budget. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children opened with 9 million. Deepwater Horizon opened with 6.35 million. Did any of you guys see that?
Still haven't seen it. I want to.
I want to.
Are you going to?
That's a good question.
Either in theaters or like on Netflix.
Netflix.
Or
The thing
at
is, like,
home.
I try to avoid films that I know are gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is
In
gonna make you
theaters.
bawl.
I don't know.
Like, I'm pretty sure this will make me cry.
I
Yeah.
just don't feel like I can watch a movie about an oil rig.
What? Okay. Because Matt, we talked about this last week. It's got a lot based off a lot of like the viewpoint of Spill, right?
No, but Spill was a lot more personal than
Yeah.
this movie, I think. I don't know. I mean, it looked okay.
It really, well, personally for me, what I got, it's about the BP oil spill that happened. And, you know,
Right.
when the oil spill happened, a lot of people really only focused on, oh, the animals, you know, in oil, let's clean them with the soap, you know, save the water. Yeah, which, and no doubt, that
Which
is,
is
stuff.
yeah.
that is all important. That is all hands down, that's important. But like, oh my God, like 12 people died in the explosion. So, you know, it's actually a huge deal. And it was actually, with the Spill show, that gives a lot of background as to why it happened and how the men on the rig were really getting pressured for all of it. So, I mean, if the film is going to be like that, yeah, I mean, I want to see it. So,
You'll see it on Redbox, just
Yeah.
like me. The rest of the top 10, number 6 spot, we got Storks. That was number 5 last weekend. It's limping towards its budget, making its budget back. Magnificent Seven, as we talked about last week, horrible movie. I haven't seen it personally, but it's not exactly doing well. So
Yeah.
that's at 5.2 million this week. And then the last 3, just to wrap it up, 4.25 million for Middle School, the worst years of my life. That movie already made its money back. Sully with 3 million, adding to its total to about 120. So that movie's making some money. And then Birth of a Nation went down to the number 10 spot this week with 2.7 million. And of course, opening this weekend, we've got a bunch of movies opening this weekend. I don't know if that's good or bad. It might turn out pretty bad. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. That's the Jack Reacher sequel is coming out. That's about Jack Reacher, and apparently he
Is
gets
it?
yeah, it is indeed. It is about Jack Reacher. I know what you were thinking, Matt. Really, it's about Jack Reacher, but it is. And it's about him. I guess he becomes a fugitive of the law and is tasked with clearing his name. Not exactly an original idea for a movie, but you know, we'll see. Ouija, they did a prequel for Ouija from
No.
before. They
Oh
didn't.
no.
no.
You know what? As a Halloween movie, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's called Ouija: Origin of Evil, and I guess it's kind of about how Ouija like moved to the next movie. It supposedly follows a widowed mother and her 2 daughters, as the younger daughter is taken over by the merciless spirit that is the Ouija.
That is the Ouija. Oh my God.
Keeping Up with the Joneses coming out this weekend. I'm actually excited for this one. A suburban couple gets caught up in international espionage when their seemingly perfect neighbors turn out to be spies.
Is that
This,
shout out to Zach Galifianakis.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
This stars Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher, Zach Galifianakis, and John Hamm. The cast looks great, and it's a comedy, so I feel like even if it's not rated that well, it's got to be at least a B. It's got to be pretty fun for you to watch.
That's my guy. Let's link up, Zach. I know you're listening.
Yeah, you hit him up, man.
He's so great. I love him.
You'll let him know you listened. Boo, a Medea Halloween. I'm done.
I feel like I have so much to say about this, but I'm going to keep my comments to myself.
I like.
No.
I've never seen any of the Medea
Me
movies,
neither.
but the trailer for this one made me laugh. I was watching it. It made me
Okay.
laugh. Why? What are you gonna
So
say?
is it
feel
not?
like
not
I
good?
want to get on a soapbox right now, but I don't.
Give
But
us like
it's
30 seconds of your soapbox.
just 30 seconds. Okay.
I'm timing you out. You got it.
I respect Tyler Perry. I appreciate what he does and all the work that he puts in. I know he's a very hard worker, but come on. Really? A Madea Halloween? Is it not?
It's a money grab.
It's a reach. It's
Yeah,
a
it is.
very far reach, and I just don't see like just let it be what it is. Just you had the great franchise. You have great movies with it.
Yeah.
It's just you don't need to make a movie for every holiday.
Valid
Just,
point.
just let it be what it is.
All right.
And time. Good job. Yeah, and then
Punctual.
lastly, very punctual. Very Nico rhymes with punctual.
Exactly.
Lastly, American Pastoral. I only include this movie. It's a limited release, but the cast looks amazing. It's starring Ewan McGregor, Jennifer Connelly, Dakota Fanning, and Peter Riegert. And it's Ewan McGregor's directing debut, so it can't be too bad.
I love him.
yeah.
Ian
Huge fan
McGregor
of
has a
him.
special place in my heart. He's
Same.
so great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I love him.
The movie's about it's set in 1968. It's about a hardworking man's middle class life falling apart as his daughter gets these new radical political affiliations, and it looks pretty interesting. It's not getting the most amazing critic reviews, but the audience reviews are okay. So I mean, just because of Ewan McGregor, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
And then moving into the Matt's Thoughts segment, give me a little bit of a theme song, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's that part of our show again, where we enter the mind of Matt. This is Matt's Thoughts.
I liked that.
Was that good?
that was like a Broadway or a broadcast version, like I have
Yeah.
a show going on,
Yeah.
like 80s broadcast style.
You're
And now
welcome.
Matt's news.
It sounded like the opening of like a game show, but
Yeah.
like a suave
Yeah, kinda that
game
style,
show.
yeah.
Like, oh my god. Sorry, guys.
I forgive you.
Um,
See, Isabella has a terrible cough.
Yeah,
And we might as well just acknowledge it because she can only hide it as well as she
yeah,
can.
guys, I'm really sorry about my cough this whole podcast. Hopefully by next week it'll be gone.
Hopefully by next week we're all well.
Yeah, it's nasty cold going
It's
on
a rough
campus.
week.
It's
just
it's
goes
sickness
around.
season,
And it's
guys.
Monday.
It just goes
Yeah.
around the studio. Just somebody's dying at all times.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
That's one of my thoughts. My thoughts is, gosh, I wish I felt better. But getting into more fun thoughts for you guys, new Rogue One trailer came out, and I think it looks amazing. It looks even better than Episode 7 to me. I didn't love Episode 7, but I got chills watching this trailer, and it made me really, really happy. It seems more Star Warsy, and that makes me excited. The Death Star looks amazing. The battles sequences look fantastic. I love the visual style, and all the acting looks great. So I can't wait to see this movie December 16th.
I'm like really pumped for it because like I kind of mentioned this before, but like earlier, like we were not outside the podcast, that episode 7 was a lot like episode 4 people complained a lot about, but I feel like with Rogue One there's like no storyline. It does sounds like it's got nothing to do with the Skywalkers. It's a free for all. Like we don't know what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, and I like it because it has to do with the storyline, but like they're not limited at all.
Yeah.
By anything that pre-exists, which is really nice. And I don't know, I'm just excited about it. Moving on, I watched Stranger Things this week, guys.
All right, let's hear it.
I know I talked about it last week of how I was like, I'm probably not going to watch it. Too many people asked me to watch it. And then I started watching it the next day. I was like, I'll just give it a shot. And I watched the first episode, and I was like, to be honest, I wasn't that sold after the first episode.
No.
You
I
gotta-
wasn't either.
It's the second one.
And then I got like halfway through the second episode, and I was done. Like
Yep.
I had plans, I had homework, I needed to eat food,
Nope.
but I couldn't do it. I just kept watching the show.
Nope.
And I love it. The acting's amazing, like especially for the child actors.
Aren't the kids great?
They're really, really good.
They're fantastic.
And like the show's style is
awesome.
beautiful, cinematography's beautiful, and the special effects are great. Like you're really missing out if you haven't watched it. So check it out on Netflix. It's gonna be there a while.
Nico,
They're
you
gonna take
haven't
a
seen it,
long
right?
time for season 2.
Moral of the story: Matt's a show hipster. So
Yeah, he is.
everybody, if you have a show that you want Matt to watch, please only ask him once.
Yes.
Oh, so true.
And no, that makes me the oddball.
You gotta
Hey,
just
dude,
do
check
this
it out.
weekend.
Not seen
It is so easy. 8 episodes.
It's
Watch it
8
with your
episodes.
girlfriend. It'll fly by.
Yeah, your girlfriend will like it too.
She watches it already.
Oh,
She'll watch it with you. Like,
she'll watch it with you again.
You could do what I did. Like I watched it, and then like my girlfriend would randomly come in and be like, "Oh, this is so cool," and we talk about it for a minute, and then I keep watching. It kind of feeds you to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It worked really well. And then of course to wrap up Matt's thoughts, I have my Erica thought.
Hi.
Rogue One's definitely an Erica thought anyway, but just to give you a little bit extra Erica thought, Nick Jonas is going to be featured on the Sunday morning track from Kevin Hart's What Now movie soundtrack, which I think is hilarious that he put out an album in the first place for that movie. He raps as his
Chocolate
alter
Dropper.
ego. Yeah, Chocolate Drop.
No, stop. Kevin Hart?
Yeah,
I love him.
Dropper.
Chocolate Dropper, man. It's fantastic. But yeah, I actually listened to the song and I really like it. It's got like a really chill R&B vibe. Definitely very, very Nick. So definitely worth checking out. Again, that's Sunday morning. And that's on the What Now movie soundtrack.
Easy.
I believe it's on
Easy like
Spotify.
Sunday morning.
That was definitely an Erica's thought though, because Matt would never willingly talk about Nick Jonas. Let me tell you, not unless it was something like relevant, like to his like field of
No, I feel you.
expertise. So I feel like Erica's very proud right now.
I hope she is. I hope she's listening to this going, man, Matt, you did me good. Proud of you. But that's going to wrap up Matt's thoughts and Erica's thought. And that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Art Things Considered. We considered some art for you guys. My name is Matthew Slaza.
Isabella Pico.
I'm Sabrina Braga.
And I'm Nico Williams.
And that was Art Things Considered, where we considered art. See you guys next week.